I know. I can't believe this is really happening either. It is time to finally do a video about the Blob, Frederick Dukes. You might recognize him from X-Men Evolution, X-Men the animated series, stuff like that, forms of media. He has always been known as enemies to my favorite organization in Marvel at the time of me filming this video, the X-Men. He is the being known to be immovable whenever he so desires. He possesses a lot of body mass, aka fat, that's why his look. It grants him superhuman strength, but to what degree, we will find out in this video. He also kind of has the mindset of a bully. Look at his face. He actually has that bully face, you know what I mean? He does petty crime. He's not really an evil being or nothing. He's the member of the Brotherhood of the Mutants, which is not really necessarily an evil organization because Magneto's kind of like gray area, you know what I mean? But without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. But of course, I gotta give a shout out to those that have donated to the channel. Thanks a lot, helps out a lot. Thank you very much. When you got super strength to such a high degree, you weighing this much shouldn't matter that much when you just get that strong, right? Because eventually, if you can lift a doggone planet up and you weigh 5,000 pounds isn't no weight. You know what I'm saying? You know, just a random example. But you'll see as the video goes on. He's gotten a couple battle occasions like this one time. He kind of blitzed magic. Like that, right? Like he's not as slow as you would think. Like the super strength actually makes up for his speed, you know, can toss himself around. He got sent flying by Rogue this one time, like literally a couple miles away. But he got back to the battlefield pretty quick, like after being thrown. Like he's not slow, you know what I mean? Like it's no way to really calculate this because we don't know the time frame. But yo, it wasn't that long, 2 miles, you know. It even narrates his speed here. It says, then moving with startling speed for one so massive, the Blob makes the first move as all fury seems to break loose in the great chamber. Move Angel in the way in this occasion. A decent speed, I would say, right? I don't think you should underestimate his speed, but that's none of my business. On to the next. If I had to put money on what's his best attribute, I would have to say his durability. This is the one occasion I probably would say his durability is better than his actual attack power, even though he does have strength, of course. But, you know, that's the thing he specializes in, is durability, being immovable, that type of thing, all that extra skin, extra bloatedness, you know what I mean? He had like this big old piece of rubber and just kind of broke against him by Storm in their mini battles with the X-Men, as you can see. He couldn't really truly harm the Blob either. Like his durability is extreme. It's really hard to harm this guy. It states here, Blob, if he doesn't wish it, the impact is an annoyance. Nothing more. And the chunk of concrete weighed over a ton. He can lift and hurl it, then it hurls back, and you know, that type of thing. Another occasion of his durability, a police car tries to ram into him. It literally does nothing. Durability, no damage taken at all. One of the X-Men members known as Angel tries to stab him with like this little metal slab. It like breaks on contact. Durability, and kind of like a feat of strength as well. It states here, the powerful blade snaps to shreds at the first impact against the Blob. Beast, yeah, I know beasts have different looking evolutions. He tries to ram into the Blob here, ends up knocking himself down in the process. Yeah, you ain't just gonna move him either way. Military grade torpedoes seem to do nothing against him. Missiles, oh yeah, high caliber rounds. Yeah, bullets definitely ain't doing nothing if the missiles ain't doing crap. He literally stays here. He really did stop the shells. They couldn't penetrate his skin. He's tossing them away while he's expanding his chest. Literally, cannonball blasts literally don't even make this guy move. I'm just saying, y'all. He kind of can't feel pain. Like, even if you actually do damage him, it's not like you're going to ever hear him yell in pain because his pain receptors are kind of jacked up. His lack of nerve endings, and by the way, you can't really be choked out because the layers are fat. Like Black Cat in particular is not in his tier of strength anyway, so yeah, good luck with that. Even states here, my mutant powers make it almost impossible for me to be hurt. I can barely feel that little thread of yours. It's implied he's able to stand his ground against Colossus. It states here, I've been hitting him as hard as I can to no effect. It's like punching a body made of porridge. Durability. And I've already got a video about Colossus on how underrated he is and how he should be comparable to character like The Thing, the most underrated character of all time, but that's none of my business. There was even this time he bounced Strongman off of him, like boing. He even says, nothing can move me, not your plasma blast, not that steroid doll you call strong guy. They even go as far as saying he could easily survive a head-on collision with a bus traveling at 100 miles an hour. Durability, right? Okay, now we're getting into the crazy feats. No matter what form of Hulk you fight, if you can take attacks from Hulk, that just ridiculously shows your durability. He actually laughs off of Savage Hulk's attacks. Fist gets stuck in his stomach and then bounces it off. That's pretty freaking impressive, right? He's able to laugh off his attacks because he literally has no pain receptors. Like, it's literally not fair. He was able to learn stuff like this thing known as mass shifting. It states here, I got my powers jacked. I learned things. I learned things like mass shifting. Was able to eat an armor-piercing round and throw it back. With him fighting Savage Hulk, bouncing his attack back at the Hulk. Attack power implied to be able to kind of harm him. Being able to dish it right back shows his level of power. It does look like he took damage here, like the way the Blob's eyes are looking, like his mouth is open, like, ah. Yeah, so the Hulk can actually move the Blob. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say he's right there on par with the super heavyweights like Hulk, though. But you know what I mean? Still impressive that it took a couple of hits, the Hulk's strength grew, and it was able to move him. You know what I mean? But he laughed off one, though. Last off an attacks from this guy known as Rom. Oh, you think this is just a no-name something? This Rom thing was able to fight freaking Gladiator before. Nope, I'm not exaggerating. They literally get in the slugfest. Nope, not lying. And Blob was able to do this to a punch from him. Like, this being is a beast. Durability is probably his best asset. He's like fought like all the major powerhouses because of his durability. Absorbs attack from Hercules, like a literal deity. Again, like what? Another occasion of him fighting Colossus. Colossus even stated that this punch tended or had enough energy to send you back to the mother country. Blob says, I don't want to get moved, I ain't getting moved. Also each Banshee scream at the same time. Even getting blasted by Pyro's not enough. He took an attack from Grey Hulk, durability, doesn't move from a telekinetic blast, multiple arrows from Hawkeye bounce off of him, and repulsor blast from Iron Man in this Silver Centurion armor, which is pretty good. Kind of able to lock blows with him too. Peter says he is nearly as durable as Juggernaut. I mean, I kind of don't doubt it because that's kind of the thing he specializes in. Some hot soup was got on him and he was fine. Do you know how bad hot soup will burn straight off the stove onto your skin, dude? Ouch. You know, lava, the ground being converted into lava. He's okay after that. You know what I mean? He said it tickles. Eats these energy beams from Vision that looks like Silver Surfer right here. But yeah, he looks like Silver Surfer right here. All that white. But you see that cape though? That's Vision. Even stated here, the Blob and I seem to evenly matched. He's got in a fight with Savage Hulk, one of the few people that can like move him. That's Hulk though. He slammed him to the ground, was able to get back up and kind of reacted pretty quickly. Might I add, he was able to grab Hulk mid-jump. States here he gets beat, but I'm not gonna get beat again, he says. Takes a massive blast from this being known as Machine Man. He even takes optic blast from Cyclops. These things can carve mountains, and when he takes his visor off, it was stated that it can blast away a planet. Just in case you was wondering where this statement was coming from, this is the statement I was talking about, Cyclops being able to rip a small planet in half with his optic beams. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, what do you know? Another occasion of him fighting Hercules, his punch getting stuck, bounces it back on him, headbutt, stuff like that. It even states here, no matter how hard I pull, I cannot get my fist free. It's ridiculous how squishy this dude is. He is literally the definition of squishy if he was in a video game. Peter, I don't even know why you tried this. If Big Dog's punches can't really do too much, if Hercules punches can go in there, I don't see what yours is going to do, buddy. Can't do anything. He calls him the Pillsbury Doughboy. Oh, back to Vision. Bounces off of the Blob. Oh, why don't we just phase through him? It doesn't really seem to do much. So how does that work? How does his fat stop phasing? You know what I'm saying? Seems to be able to match Vision and raw strength too in this occasion. Mother battle feat. In this occasion, he does it in a newer comic, hurts a little bit. So the Blob calls himself immovable, but there's actually more to it than just, oh, he's just immovable because he wants to be immovable because he's a mutant or something. He actually has something more technical about him. Well, it's actually because he has some gravity manipulation. I'm going to read this Marvel handbook stuff, descriptions about the Blob's powers and how his powers work. It states here, the Blob's mutant powers relate to mass, strength, resilience, and indestructibility of his obese body. His primary ability is to become virtually immovable at will as long as he is in contact with the ground. He does this by binding himself to the earth beneath him by force of will, which in effect creates a monodirectional increase of gravity beneath him. This gravity field extends about 5 feet in radius from his center of balance. Thus, if there's a sufficient power to uproot him, it will take the ground beneath his feet in the area corresponding to the radius of the field. Through intense concentration, the Blob is able to extend the gravity field beneath him farther than 5 feet. It's actually like a gravity manipulation situation. I mean, just from him falling from a high area, it causes massive explosions that really shouldn't technically be that big of an explosion because of his mass. There was this time where even Jean Grey tried to pull him away from the ground. It states here, it's useless. His feet stick to the ground, pulling it up with him. I can't raise him. When Storm uses crazy winds, they knew the Blob wouldn't be moved. So they said, oh, let me just grab onto the Blob while all these crazy winds are happening. You know what I'm saying? Because they know he won't be moved. That's pretty freaking crazy. Getting blown out the building, but the Blob's good. If you're strong like characters like the Hulk, you can like cause him pain though. So sometimes they say he can't feel no pain, and sometimes they say he can feel pain. Take damage. Not every single part of his body doesn't have pain receptors, you know what I mean? Another cool occasion of people trying to move him, like he's binding himself with the ground. He falls hard enough to like make everyone think that earthquake is happening. There's this occasion fighting Hulk again. During this gravity manipulation situations here, it says, here's a wrestling trick I learned. By adding my weight to yours, I can put you on the mat. States here, I got muscle under here. Y'all love fun feats? DC crossover time. Calabac tries to move him from DC and he can't. I'm just being funny. Like, he's literally starting to remind me of some Reed Richards stuff, stretcho type stuff. Like, he was able to stretch his fist, stretchy abilities, new powers. Cool stuff, right? That's what happens when you learn new stuff and evolve over time. Bullies Wolverine by sitting on him, can't do nothing. Psylocke tries to move him, can't move him. One of the best psionic beings, in my opinion. Love Psylocke. Yeah, so this gravity manipulation thing can be kind of OP. So far, you got a pretty decent idea of his strength. He doesn't have no flash if he's like busting no giant meteor or crazy stuff. His feats kind of based off battle feats. You know what I'm saying? He has some pretty decent battle feats like you've already seen in this video. But let me go back to strength and just focus on that subject for a second. Characters like Iceman try to freeze him. He just breaks out of it by wiggling his big toe. Gives you an idea of his super strength. Durability is one thing. We've seen that he can take punches from Colossus in the stomach, Hulk, and stuff like that. But catching is another story. That actually shows super strength. He's not getting punched in the stomach here. And was able to hit him back with super strength too. With a backhand. Even Colossus says, what a blow. He can just kind of rip open Bake Vault with ease. This should be nothing for him. Xavier even says that his powers seem to be molecular in nature. He was able to break these chains, large industrial chains. It states here, the very molecules of your flesh react to your mental commands and seem to perform almost any feat you desire. Give you an idea of his attack power. Breaks through multiple floors. He dominated a Black Vortex Amped Angel in a fight. Battle feat. No surprise here. Like, Daredevil's like one of the best fighters ever, but he's kind of out of his tier when it comes to characters like the Blob. When it comes to pure skill, of course, Daredevil's a better fighter, but when a character's this much stronger than you, it doesn't matter, like instant KO. Another case of him fighting Hulk, you get more instances of his strength by seeing his attack power. Like hitting him here, moves him and stuff like that. Nothing too flashy here, but you know what the Hulk has done. So he can convert his mass to crush Colossus after sending him flying here. He was about to do it mid-flight, but Colossus dodged. Yeah, he can fight on par with characters like Colossus. It's impressive. Sends people flying on too many occasions. Sends Vision flying with a punch. Yeah, I know I keep going back to Vision. Almost killed Hellcat in a chokehold. Too strong. He actually was able to send Wonder Man flying. Yeah, a heavy hitter. Got a video about him as well, like flying from Rikers Island to the west of Bronx with a single hit. The amount of energy you can produce to do that. X-23 is pretty fast and agile. I was able to slap her around despite the speed, showing reaction time too, and showing that his tier of strength is too strong, really. It's one of those occasions where these people probably can fight a lot better than him when it comes to a pure skill, but it's just the strength gap is too big, the durability gap is too big, you know, stuff like that. He's strong enough to stop a blitz from Rogue, sit on her flying when she got powers from Ms. Marvel. Yeah, that freaking strong. He was able to squish Strong Guy, send him flying with a punch. So the Blob is pretty strong, but I don't want you guys to think there's a no limits fallacy going on. Like, he can be moved. They call him unmovable. It's like one of those things, like a pun. Depending on how strong you are, if like you're like a top tier heavy hitter like Hulk, Thor, Hercules, they really fought them all out. They can actually move them. But like normal people, if you're like any tier below that, you're probably not moving them. Like if you're Spider-Man tier, symbiote tier, you're probably not gonna be able to move them. You know, stuff like that. He looks like a goofy character, but he's actually pretty strong. He can eat bazookas. Missiles don't do nothing. People can harm him. Some of his pain receptors will hurt, but sometimes he states on panel that, oh, hey, that hurts, you know, stuff like that. I like his evolution, though. After a certain amount of time, he actually was able to, like, get new abilities and techniques, like stretching and stuff. It really fits his persona anyway, stretching. You know that ability I showed you early, mass shifting? It's crazy how he can make his fist big like this, flat looking right here. Makes you wonder who else trains off screen. How strong is the Blob? He's not too hard to figure out. He's obviously way stronger than super soldier tiers like Daredevil. Yeah, Daredevil's in the super soldier tier with Captain America. That type of range. He's obviously above those tiers, right? That should be fair. No surprise there. In every way, form, shape, or fashion. I wouldn't go as far as saying he's quite on the level of Savage Hulk. I would say he's like in the medium-ish heavyweights. Like I would say the Blob is above maybe, I would say he's quite a bit above Sensational Days She-Hulk, but weaker than the current time She-Hulk. That's fair, right? I would say the Blob easily belongs with characters like Grey Hulk's tier based on the performance and feats I've shown in this video of him fighting Colossus and Grey Hulk, at least before Grey Hulk gets too mad. Like if Grey Hulk like gets too mad, I think Grey Hulk can overpower him, you know, but under like calm state conditions, I think he's on par with this Hulk that can still bust an asteroid 2 times the size of Earth. So it should be still in the planetoid ranges, star level ranges anyway, right? Star level in Marvel isn't a big deal. Blob should be with this tier of people like Colossus in his base form, like in that range, right? That's fair enough, right? But what do you guys think? Do you guys know the Blob was this strong? Did you know he, via scaling, should be in the star range? We know we ain't seen him bust no star. We ain't seen him bust no planet. But like when you fight this many people that can in Marvel and not necessarily give him a war, and it's not necessarily a bloodlusted battle, the writers do seem like they intend for him to be in that Colossus range. And that's still pretty freaking underrated, but that's just me. Post them comments down below. Let me know what you all think. I will see you guys later.